Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing prepping for my tea party that I'm going to be doing this Saturday, and it's just going to be my kids and my husband, and I think one of my boys is going to be actually working, so it's just going to be two of my kids, my husband and I. But I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I'm doing to prep for the tea party. So right now I'm going to the store to go get some things. Today is Thursday. That way I can have it so I can start prepping stuff tomorrow, Friday. So stay with me. Let's go and get stuff ready for this tea party. All right, so I'm back home from going to the store to get the stuff to start prepping for my little tea party. This is going to take time because it depends on what you want to do with your tea party. But there's a few recipes that I did get from my Tea Time magazines, and I needed some of this Beyond Turbinado cane sugar, I believe. And I got the packets because the one that has the loose sugar in it was really hard, kind of like the brown sugar. And so I figured I would get the ones with the packets. And it's just this. It's like cane sugar with rich molasses flavor. And that's for one of the recipes that I need. But I also picked up, look at these little sugar cane cubes. And you could buy them at Walmart a little cheaper. But you know what? I didn't feel like going over there. But these are cute for my little tea party. And yeah, I just bought other stuff for the little tea sandwiches that I'm gonna make, and it's a brunch, so it's gonna depend on what I decide to make. I bought some cranberries to make, I don't know, maybe cranberry stuff. It's fall time, so oh, you know what I forgot to buy? I forgot to buy my pastries. So the pastry, puff pastry. So I'll have to go back to the store maybe a little later with the hubster. But so get all your prep stuff done. Get everything that you need. I got my heavy whipping cream, my butter. I got some of this cheese here that I'm going to be using for one of my recipes. So get everything that you need. I'm whispering because my husband's on a call right now. But anyways, get the stuff that you need for your party. And then tomorrow, which is Friday, I'll start prepping some of this food, making my scones, putting them in the fridge. That way on Saturday, I can start making everything. And that way by the time brunch comes around, all I have to do is set it out on my table. I do have to get my table. I'm going to do it indoors. So I am going to set up the table here. This is what I have for fall. And these are from my garden. Look at how pretty all my flowers, my roses. I have some pink roses, white, red, and yellow. And then the eucalyptus from our tree in the front. But I will be buying a little arrangement to put here in the center. And then, you know, some candles. And, you know, it's just us, but I want to make it special for my children and for my husband. So I will be decorating here. We won't be doing it outside. I think it'll be better indoors. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and put all my groceries away. And then tomorrow we'll come back and start prepping the food.
So now it's Friday, and I went to the store and I bought these beautiful roses with flowers. They were $9.99, and I'm going to go ahead and just put them in this really nice vase that I had picked up at the thrift store. And as you can see, I'm just going to cut them down and put them in my water with that little powder that they put in there. But I didn't really care how it looked. It just looked really sparse. So I decided that I wanted to go outside and get some of my flowers from my garden. So here it is. As you guys can see, it looks beautiful, but it doesn't look full. So I'm going into my garden to clip some roses. So look at how beautiful these pink roses are, and they smell amazing too. I also have these beautiful yellow roses that I can add to my arrangement. And these beautiful red roses that are in my front yard. Aren't they beautiful? And then there's the eucalyptus tree. I'm going to cut some eucalyptus and put that in my arrangement. So this rose is from my garden, and then this one is from the store. Can't tell the difference. They're so beautiful. There's another one of roses from my garden, and then all this is from our garden as well. So here it is, all filled out now with all the stuff from my garden, all the roses, eucalyptus. These guys are beautiful. They're from our garden as well. They look really fallish, and I think it looks so much better now. It's nice and full. I did cut it down some more so it didn't stay like this. I did make it look a little better. So yeah, that's what I did with my flowers. So now I'm outside. This is my sage. Look at how beautiful my sage is. I need this for my butternut squash soup. So today, Friday, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting down some of my herbs. And I'm going to cut down my sage. And I like to put my herbs in water as I'm cutting them. And then I'm also going to be using some chives for my tea sandwiches. Boy, did I have a lot of chives too. Look at how beautiful they look. It needed a serious haircut. So I'm also going to be using some thyme. This is some English thyme here. So I'm going to cut down some thyme. I'm also going to be cutting some mint, and wash your shears. I used them to cut the onions, but I washed them. I don't want to cross-contaminate and have my mint taste like onions or the chives. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some mint for some water, some strawberry mint water that I'm just going to make for tomorrow. So I'm going to work on my butternut squash soup, and I bought an organic butternut squash. And I'm also going to be using an apple for this recipe. I'm also going to be using a shallot and a celery stick and a carrot stick, some sage, some butter, and also 2 garlic cloves. And I'm going to be using these spices in here: cinnamon, some fresh nutmeg, and some cardamom. And I'm only going to use a little bit of the cardamom. It's kind of fallish flavors. Then I'm also going to season it with some salt and pepper. And then as far as stock, well, I'm also going to use some olive oil, but I'm also going to use some stock. And this is vegetable stock, but you can use chicken stock or whatever stock you'd like. So now we're going to go ahead and start cutting down our butternut squash. Be careful with this. This is really, really hard. So I cut the ends first and then I peel it. But I'm showing you guys that I'm using this little butternut squash. I did not use this one because it was not good. I've had this one for a while in my refrigerator, and I didn't realize we still had it. It was in our refrigerator in the garage, and so it does go bad. So I'm going through all this trouble peeling it, but this is what you're normally going to do to your butternut squash. And but yeah, I didn't end up using the small one. I just used the big one. So this is the big squash now. I cut this one down, I peeled it, and then once you've peeled it, be very, very careful when you're cutting this, because this squash is really, really hard. So please don't cut yourself when you're doing this part. But as you can see, once it's been peeled, I just went ahead and I started to cut it straight down the middle. Very, very tough, you guys, so be careful. And then we're just going to scoop out the seeds from the butternut squash, and you can save the seeds and roast them, and then you can put them on top of your butternut squash soup, which is what I did. I don't show you when I roast my seeds, but all you do is you clean them up really well, put a little bit of olive oil, season them with whatever flavors you like. I use the same flavors that I'm using in the soup, and then I just put it in the oven at 350, and then I just let them roast. And then I did go in there and I moved them around so they don't burn, but that's how easy it is to roast your seeds, kind of like pumpkin seeds. So basically, we're just going to be cutting up our butternut squash into little cubes, and you can cut them like an inch cubes. It doesn't really matter. You want to keep them all even, the cuts, because we are going to go ahead and saute them, but you want them all to cook around the same time. So you want to keep them at least about an inch thick, the little cubes that we're going to cut. So now that I cut my butternut squash, I'm also going to cut up my carrot and my celery. I'm just going to dice them and throw them in with my butternut squash. So I'm also going to dice up 2 garlic cloves, and I'm just going to toss it in with the butternut squash, celery, and carrot. I'm also going to be using an apple and a shallot. I'm going to go ahead and dice this and toss it in with my mixture. I don't show you how I do that, but as you can see, here it is, all chopped up and ready to go. So here I'm just going to melt a stick of butter, and then I'm going to add some olive oil to this pan. I'm not giving you guys measurements, I'm just showing you what I'm doing. If you guys do want a recipe on this and how a tutorial on how I do this, then I'll be more than happy to do this for you. You can leave it in the comments below and let me know, but I'm just showing you really quickly what I'm doing. So I'm going to add some sage to this. Basically I'm going to fry up the sage in this butter and olive oil. So I'm just going to wait for the butter to melt, and then I'm just going to go ahead and toss my sage in there. So here's my sage. I have the heat on high, but I'm going to continue to watch my sage. I don't want it to burn. And this is just to flavor the butter and the oil, so it'll flavor our soup with that sage. So make sure that you don't let your sage burn. But once your sage is nice and crispy, you're going to go ahead and fish it out of there. Don't throw it away. We're going to save that. We're going to top our soup with this. And then once you take out your sage, you're just going to toss everything into your pot, and you're just going to saute this for about 10 to 15 minutes. You want to get all those flavors in there to infuse. Now I'm just going to go ahead and season it with some salt and pepper. This is to your liking. I'm not even measuring it. I'm just putting it in here, and then I'll adjust the seasoning. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my vegetable broth, and I'm just using about 5 to 6 cups of vegetable broth. I'm also going to add a sprig of thyme, fresh thyme in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and let this cook down until it's nice and tender. It's going to take about a half hour, 30 minutes, and then I'm just adjusting my flame. And so here it is. I'm going to check it. This is after 30 minutes. And once your butternut squash is tender, it's done. It's ready for you to puree it. I'm also going to be taking out the stem for the thyme. Don't want that in there. So now, as you can see, I'm turning off the flame because I am going to puree this and I don't want this to be on. So I'm just going to use an immersion blender to blend this all up in my pot. But if you don't have one, you can go ahead and just use a regular blender to puree this. Just be very careful because it is hot and I don't want you to burn yourself. Again, turn off the flame when you're going to use the immersion blender because you don't want this to splatter and burn you. So I turned the flame back on, and you can see now it's nice and pureed. Looks really creamy. This is how you want it. And then now I'm going to go ahead and add my spices to this. Again, I'm not measuring. I'm just going to eyeball this. So I'm just going to add my cinnamon. Just regular ground cinnamon. And some cardamom. I think this gives it that nice fall touch, those fall flavors. And then I'm also going to use some nutmeg in here. And I use fresh nutmeg. I'm also adding a nice pinch of salt. And then that's it. And so I will add some heavy cream to this tomorrow when I warm it up. I'm not going to add it in right now, but tomorrow when I go to warm up my soup, I will add a splash of heavy cream and it'll be ready to serve tomorrow. So I'm going to be making these orange cranberry scones, and I decided to make them the morning of our brunch. So these are the ingredients I'm going to be using, and this recipe is from my Tea Time magazine. So this is the filling for my cucumber tea sandwiches. This is my take on it, by the way, friends. This is not how the British do their tea sandwiches. I'm going to add some softened cream cheese, some garlic powder, and some pepper, and then some fresh chives that I cut from my garden. And then I'm just going to mix all this together, and then I'm going to put this on my bread, and then I'm going to put my slices of cucumber on there. But I wanted to show you how I do mine. I just wanted to add a little flavor to mine. And so again, I don't mean to offend anybody. This is how I'm making my cucumber sandwiches. So here is my son. He is helping me with these cucumber sandwiches. He put some butter on the bread, and then he put the cream cheese on there, and now he's putting the cucumber on there. And yeah, this is how we're doing our sandwiches. So I started warming up my butternut squash soup, and I added the heavy whipping cream to it. And then here is my tablescape. I think it came out so cute. I will be going to the thrift store and looking for some fall china because I didn't have anything fall. So I may do with what I had. So of course I had to use some real pumpkins to decorate for fall. So this is the loose tea that I'm putting into this teapot, cranberry blood orange. So here is my table with everything on it. That is a pumpkin cheesecake parfait that I made. And then our butternut squash soup with the fried sage leaves and the butternut squash seeds. And I also made some turkey cranberry tea sandwiches along with the cucumber tea sandwiches. Well, my son made those. And then we also have some strawberry mint water with that mint that I got from my garden. And then this is my place setting here. And then in here we have our loose tea. And then right over here we have some eclairs. We have some more milk for our tea, assorted teas. I have some jam and some butter there. And then I'm going to show you the canapes that I made. They're with mushroom and Gruyere cheese. And then also I made this cream for our scones. Here is a close-up of the canapes and the scones. Doesn't that look so good? So my son is right outside the window being a goofball, wearing this cowboy hat, and you will see him wear different hats throughout the tea party because he said it reminds him of the Mad Hatter's tea party. So here is my family. We're getting ready to start our tea party. The lighting in the house was very bad. As you can see, it looks a little blurry, but that's because we have quite a few windows and we're getting the sunlight in, so it looks a little blurry. But here we are getting our tea party started. I have a wonderful family who just always goes along with whatever I, come up with. And my husband in the background taking pictures of the food, my daughter serving herself her tea, Priscilla is right there wagging her tail, and my other son, he's at work. He wasn't here this day. I was so sad about that, but there is my other boy, and there's my hubby getting himself, his tea sandwiches, always being a clown. And as you can see, there's another hat that my son just put on. He is so silly, but I had such a wonderful time. We all did. I think this is something that we're definitely going to continue to do for the seasons, and it was so much fun. Inside those teapots was hot water for their tea, and yeah, my son is being a goofball again, trying to take the eclairs with his Mickey hat on right there from his grad night. This was so much fun, friends. I mean, I really do recommend you do this with your family. It doesn't take much, it's just, simple. And it's a nice Saturday afternoon, and we're just enjoying each other's company. Again, I wish my son was here. He's working, you know, responsibilities. So, yeah, this was so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. I mostly enjoyed just spending time with my family, and that's what it's all about. And so, yeah, we just felt like, this was very much needed. So, I hope you guys try something like this with your family. I really recommend it. It was so much fun. Here's Priscilla wanting to say hello. So I wanted to show you, look at my soup. Doesn't that look so nice? And there's my scones. I think they came out so good. They were really, really good, that recipe. But there's my son. I don't know if you guys can see. See, he changed hats again. He's such a goofball. But anyways, friends, this was our tea party that I've been wanting to have for so long. And I wanted to show you guys how I did some of these recipes, and also how I decorated. It doesn't take much to do a tea party. You can just make some sandwiches and cut some flowers from outside and make some tea and just make a cute little tea party. But I'm definitely going to have one for the winter as well. And if you want to see when I do that one, and if you want me to be more detailed in the recipes, then just leave me a comment below and I'll be more than happy to oblige. Anyways, friends, this was our little tea party. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I know I enjoyed recording it and making this little tea party for my family. And I want to thank you, friends, so very much for watching. And I hope you guys try something like this with your family. Spend time with family, because that's what it's all about. Anyways, thank you, friends, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day, friends. Bye.